My name's Grant Lang, I'm the founder of Mozzo Coffee. Mozzo is a coffee company I started in 2005 when I was at university. I didn't start Mozzo with a big business plan, it didn't have a big, I suppose, financial projection. It was just started because I had an interest and a passion for coffee, and I had a belief that I could do it better than anyone in the city of Southampton.
Recently there's been a big wave of wanting to make everything a lot better, so be it service, be it tea, coffee, all of it. And I think people are starting to understand that coffee plays a really big role in an experience that somebody has.
I'm definitely learning a lot through trial and error and different courses and all that sort of thing, so yeah.
You have two types of coffee beans, Arabica, Robusta. We exclusively buy grade 1 Arabicas for our Mozzo blends. Arabica coffee takes 5 years to grow, Robusta takes 4 years. Arabica's grown at altitude, Robusta at sea level. Therefore, Arabica coffees develop more kind of complex flavours. It's more expensive, but you can get more complex, delicate flavours from it. The blending of coffees, it's quite complex. So you have flavour wheels, depending on where a coffee bean is grown, depending on how much sunshine, how much rainfall, depending on the strand of coffee, you'll get different flavours in that. You might get flavours of vanilla, flavours of caramel, flavours of almond, flavours of apricot. That is the complex side to blending.
You've just got to get the balance right, and it's more trial and error really, as to find out what you're aiming for. So we start down here with the green bean, do a couple of sample roasts, see what we get, go upstairs, cup it, see if we like it, think about what we change, and then come back down here and go again.
They say that you should everything in moderation. On an average day, I probably drink between 3 and 5 coffees a day. Days that we're working on our blend, you could be tasting anything up to 30, 40 coffees, but you're not drinking them, you're slurping and spitting.
Coffee and wine is quite similar, so you look for different flavours in the glass or the cup.
At the end of the day, you want to affect someone's senses as much as possible. So you want to have a warm cup, something that smells good, something that looks good, and you want it to taste good. Some
people call it an art form, others call it a science. It's really challenging. I thought it would just be a case of bunging it in the top, but it's so variable. You can ruin a bean just for roasting it for 30 seconds too long.
There's a myth that a guy can roast a lot of coffee in a shed. You can, but if you want to do it well consistently, you need a whole army of machinery and people and infrastructure to do it well. Simon could always make good coffee. When we found out that he enjoyed taking cars to pieces in his spare time, we kind of put the two together. A roaster's got to be practical. You've got to take these machines apart, clean them, put them back together and make them work again. He was practical. He pretty much had all the skills to learn roasting. So we've launched a micro roastery here in Southampton.
It's a bit like a cement mixer crossed with an oven. So the turbine goes around and churns the coffee. You wait for the target temperature. Say you want to start your roast at 190 degrees, drop the coffee in. You then log the roast on a profile chart and see what temperature is at different times. As the temperature increases, you look at the colour, look at the smells, all that kind of thing. And then when you reach your kind of target colour or your target time, and you drop the coffee into the cooling tray, and the stirrer goes round to cool the coffee really quickly. A bit like putting some vegetables, say, in some cold water after you've boiled them to stop them cooking. It's the same kind of thing. You want to stop them cooking as quickly as possible so that you get a nice flavour.
People say to you, what's different with your coffee over other people's, but coffee's subjective. So, our product is no better or worse than anyone else's. It comes down to the preparation.
I think people just think, oh, it's just coffee, but they don't see that their families that grow that coffee, and it takes ages to grow it, and then there's all the packing and the processing and the roasting. There's so much that goes into a coffee that somebody can ruin in like 5 seconds.
When you're working with a product that is it's grown in the wild, coffee can change from one harvest season. Next year they don't get the same amount of sunshine and rainfall, their coffee's not going to have the same flavour characteristics. So then you have to look at your blends again and go through that process all over again to achieve the same flavour profile.
It's probably the most important thing, the extraction of coffee. Getting it right is really a little bit tricky, but once you do, it really just makes the most pleasant coffee.
Danielle started with this. I think Danielle's a great example of where passion and knowledge make great coffee. So Danielle Faustino is our head trainer. She started with us as an administrator and displayed a great passion for people, a real passion for coffee, the ability to retain information, and therefore she's evolved into a, gone from a back of house to a front of house role, and she's doing fantastic. She's retiring me as a trainer.
I enjoy making a really great cup of coffee and giving it to a customer and them actually appreciating it. For me, coffee, my passion's not just based on coffee, but it's based on everything surrounding it, service, all of that. When it comes to tamping, making sure that all the coffee stays within the basket. So usually we say to gauge it first, make sure that it's level initially. Tap in any loose coffee grinds, then go in and apply pressure. Make sure you brush the surface off. Locking your group handle, making sure that it's twisted tight so no leaking occurs around the group handle, and place it under your spout. When you're doing a milky coffee, as soon as your coffee starts to pour, you then start your milk, putting it to one side, switch it on, and texture and stretch your milk. Once it gets to the correct temperature, which is where it gets too hot for you to hold, you turn off your steam arm, you wipe and purge it to make sure no milk gets burnt inside the steam arm. You stop your shot and you commence your pouring.
The world is consuming more and more coffee. It has a problem because there is only the limited amount of land that we have available to grow high quality coffees. Therefore prices are only going one way, and that's up. But I think if coffee can focus on quality, then it will still be relevant to people's, if you like, people's daily lives.